These are the worst maps in every Treyarch Zombies game. As always, this is just my own opinion, however I will say beforehand that these are pretty big hot takes, so brace yourself. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into the video. As always, starting with World at War, and we have Nakja and Toten. And I'm surprised that this is even a hot take, to be honest, because, I mean, the map is clearly boring compared to the other three. I mean, let's look at the others. You have Varuk, a more interesting map layout, it introduced perks, traps, all the rest of it, and it was way more fun. You have Shinonuma. Yeah, it's boring in the subsequent games, but the World at War version's quite fun, and it introduced the Wonderdwarf and the dogs. Then you have Doris, which, sure, it's glitchy in the World at War version, but it introduced Pack-a-Punch, and it was a very friendly map layout, and it helped inspire, you know, the Giant, which is a fan favorite map. But Nakja and Toten doesn't have anything. It's boring as fuck, and I understand, oh, it was the first Zombies map of all time, I get that argument, but at the same time, it's just not a very good argument. I can respect that it's the first map ever created, but if it's a lackluster map, it's a lackluster map. The worst thing about this map, though, is the spawns. In all three versions of Nakja and Toten, the spawns of the zombies are fucking dreadful, and they had opportunities to fix the spawns, making them faster, and they chose not to, which is something I dislike immensely, as it just drags down the pacing of Nakja. Really is the worst map in World at War, and I'm surprised it's even a hot take, to be honest. Get your hate comments ready. Okay, but hear me out, seriously. Kino de Toten introduced barely anything into zombies and is the most overrated map of all time. I mean, what did this even introduce? It introduced the Thunder Gun, that's pretty good, and Nova Crawlers, which are pretty shit. Other than that though, the map is boring, overrated garbage. It really is. I mean, look at the other maps. You have 5. A very fun, you know, map until round 30 at least, where it becomes insanely difficult after that. You have Ascension, which was better, Call of the Dead was better, Shangri-La, you either love it or you hate it, and Moon was obviously really good, even if it sucked on BO1. But Kino just has absolutely nothing going for it. It's either pathetically easy training on the stage, or it's mind-numbingly boring going anywhere else. It's just not a very good map, and whilst it was fun at the time, it's not the best launch map in Zombies ever. I would play Shadows of Evil, 9, or D-Machine over Kino de Toten. The worst map in Black Ops 2 Zombies has to be Transit. More specifically, you know, the Green Run, and the worst map in Green Run is, you know, Bus Depot Survival. Realistically, it's just Nakja and Toten without anything that made Nakja good, i.e. without the nostalgia or the atmosphere. This map has no nostalgia going for it, the atmosphere is dog shit, the map looks awful, it's incredibly difficult, there's no perks, Pack-a-Punch or anything. Arguably the hardest map in Black Ops 2 and one of the hardest in the series, but it's not even hard in like a fun way like Varuk, it's just painfully boring, lackluster, generic, not fun in the slightest. I don't even want to talk about it. Just carrying on with the hot takes, guys, my worst map in Black Ops 3 is Gorod Krovi, which is a very big hot take, I know, but hear me out. When I say that it's the worst of Black Ops 3, you gotta keep in mind that the Black Ops 3 maps are all like good or above. You know, Black Ops 3 doesn't have a single bad map, so when I say that Gorod is the worst of BO3, it's the worst of the good maps, if that makes sense. Really, what holds this map back for me is just the high rounds and the wonder weapon. I'm a high round gamer. I don't typically go for Easter eggs, they're not really my thing. I can appreciate them, but high rounds are my thing, and this has the worst high rounds out of the 6 Black Ops 3 maps. The Warrior Gun Mark III caps at about around 50 to 60, and then you're just left with double Pack-a-Punch, traps, and the shield, and also the gauntlet. That's basically it, but again, double Pack-a-Punch was a game mechanic overall, not a mechanic that the map introduced, and you even saw it with Mr. T Lexify. The high rounds are just not all that fun. Then the Ray Gun Mark III. I don't like the fact that this was the map-specific wonder weapon. I think what made the Raygun Mark II so likable was that it was like a side weapon alongside the Paralyzer. But in Gorod Krovi, the Raygun Mark III was the map-specific wonder weapon. This was the wonder weapon for that map. And it just wasn't all that good. It was just a scuffed Apothicon Servant, and it was really nothing besides that. I understand the map is really badass, and it has very good, you know, boss fights and stuff, but besides that, it's just held back by these 2 factors for me. Black Ops 4 was a very difficult one for me to choose. I don't think any of the Chaos maps were the worst, not even Dead of the Night, because whilst they weren't all that remarkable, at the very least they were original. I think for me it was either Tag de Toten or or Alpha Omega, and it had to be Alpha Omega. Realistically, this map is just boring, uninspired, unoriginal, not fun, and garbage, to be completely honest, and it has nothing going for it. I prefer Nuketown over this. It's just not all that fun. Like, the wonder weapons were just 4 elemental Mark IIs. They weren't fun, original, or anything. The explosive one is my favorite of the bunch, but that's basically as far as I'd go. Easter egg, again, not really. The other Easter eggs in BO4, especially Ancient Evils, just blow this one out of the water. Boss fight, again, unoriginal. It was just the Avogadro, and you can win it in like 10 seconds with the Path of Sorrows. You know, map layout, again, it's so claustrophobic, awful, not fun to explore. The new areas weren't all that good. This map really just has nothing going for it. Finally, for Cold War, we have Firebase Z. And to be fair, I don't hate any map in Cold War. I think that they're all actually really good. So the fact that Firebase Z is the worst of this bunch, again, it's kind of like Black Ops 3. In my opinion, it's just the worst of the best maps, in my opinion. Firebase Z, the main issue that I have with it is honestly just the Easter egg and the boss fight. The Easter egg admittedly was pretty lackluster. I know I'm not that big of an Easter egg guy, but even I know that the fucking mimic Pokeball step is just so freaking stupid. You know, the RNG surrounding it isn't all that good. The Order boss fight, I think, is terrible. You know, the one specifically where you have to beat the Easter egg, the one where you fight him, you know, in the mid rounds, you know, 30, 40, 50, that sort of thing. I think it is good, but I think that it's just way too annoying. You don't get any penalty at all, but if you beat him, you get a really good reward, because the fact that he just turns off the power is a death sentence in the higher rounds. It really is. Like, good luck trying to reactivate those things with fucking super sprinters and stuff. It's not all that fun to do. The Ray K wonder weapon just isn't all that good. It's not original, really. It's just a scuffed assault rifle, and statistically it's worse than most assault rifles when you use it with Ring of Fire against the Order. Against zombies it's decent, but again, it's just my least favorite wonder weapon in Cold War. The map by no means is not bad. As a casual experience, I think Firebase Z is genuinely one of the better maps in Zombies. However, it just has way too many flaws to be considered anything other than the worst that Cold War had to offer. Also, I know you guys really wanted an outro, so I